Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer, documentarian who has interviewed roughly 1,400 celebs, and I kept the tapes. This is the third and perhaps the last of 3 podcasts I'm making to coincide with the release of the Sky documentary series Boyzone No Matter What, which originated in my archive of tapes. After the premiere in Dublin recently, Keith Duffy told me he still loves Louis Walsh no matter what happened back in the days of Boyzone. The fact is that even back in 2001, when he and I did a now legendary interview for the Sunday Independent, the tapes of which provided part of the research for the documentary, he told me then that he still loved Louis. Despite Walsh too often putting him down when he was part of Boyzone, and dismissing Boyzone too often, even during TV interviews while he was promoting Westlife. What follows is the opening section from the 90-minute tape of the interview Keith and I did in 2001. I've left in a little preamble before he focuses on Louis, because it shows how in tune we were and had been since the first time we did an interview in 1994. Put another way, when Keith Duffy spoke to me, there was no bullshit. That said, Keith could sometimes be too honest for his own good in my company and on tape. So, as with my previous podcasts related to Boyzone No Matter What, I've cut out any revelations that might have a negative effect on his family. Enjoy.
Last in the book, I only realised this morning, is because you gave me the best interview.
Really?
I left the substance till the last.
No,
If you
thanks
go,
very much.
go back and look at the book. The book ends with your words.
I thought the book was... See, the whole thing about it was we'd no fucking direction. We'd no power in our direction. We had to kind of just be told what was happening.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Eugene Maston's book, he was given so much designated time for his book.
Yeah.
You were given a fucking photo shoot.
Yeah, I know.
Quick, do an interview. And the book was 20 times better.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine you would have been given the time
I know.
that Maston was given.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That book could have been incredible.
Yeah, but he gave away.
It could have been incredible for me. I don't know if it would have been incredible for
Right.
anybody else.
Right.
It would have been an incredible book for whoever wants to read it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same as any book.
But there were all those restrictions on
Joe,
it, you know?
I've got a million stories that have never been aired.
Right.
And one day I'm going to write a book and I need someone to write it for me. And I'm not feeling you full of shit, Joe. I'm dead honest with you. This is an awful lot to do with my instincts. I'd like to write a book with you if you were up for it.
I would, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not digging the dirt up on anybody.
Right.
It's just an interesting young boy from the north side of Dublin that hadn't got 2 fucking pennies to rattle together, and people thinking he's a millionaire and he never fucking really made a penny because the rest of the boys pulled out in the last minute when we were about to make money into a whole different fucking ball game, which is just, I think, is a great story.
What you've moved into.
Yeah. No, from where I've come from,
Right.
gone through, the people that have their certain beliefs and expectations of me and what I have made of myself, to the insecurity that comes behind it all.
Yeah, okay.
And then the security then of having not to provide for yourself but to provide for your 2 kids and the missus.
Yeah.
And then moving into a different ball game and still being robbed of the fact that you can't spend every day of your life with your fucking people that you love because you have to go away to support them and work.
Yeah.
And the stories in between are fascinating. Some of them are fascinating.
Now look, I know, what we can do, we can actually use this interview to give an outer shape on that, not give anything away, right, and not hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But we can actually, this interview, like this front page in the Sunday Indo has 1.87 readers. It's the biggest thing you can do in the media in Ireland. I hadn't realised that till I started. You can actually redefine a person's public image in one interview.
Right.
Right? So we could go in that direction, as far as you want to go.
Okay.
All right, so what I have here, which is great fun, I have a set of questions that are just more contemporary, and I have the old interview and the highlighted sections. I'd love you to just look back on your younger self.
Oh yeah, it'd be
I think
interesting.
it'll make an interesting contrast.
Yes, okay.
Okay, now answer every question with absolute, as you will, sensitivity to everybody else.
Louis Walsh to bits. I really
Alright,
do.
okay.
My wife does not like him whatsoever.
Okay.
She thinks he's an absolute... My wife is very fond of me, obviously, and I'm an awful softie, terrible
Okay.
softie.
Yeah, I
People
know.
walk on me
I know
and I
that.
still go back for more.
I know that.
Go back for more.
Didn't you cry that day in the BBC with me? You got upset.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
That's where I knew it. For all the poses you were throwing.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
self-centered
me, man.
there.
I'm a softie, and people
All
walk
right.
on me, and I go back and I say no. My whole thing is, I know this person doesn't like me, but I
Okay.
know he doesn't know me well enough not to like me.
Okay.
So if I can change his views on me, well, that's a mark for me.
All right. Okay.
And that's if I like in the Big Brother house, for instance, Chris Eubank didn't like me.
Okay,
So I spent my whole time being very, very open with Chris and have an open conversation and trying to give the man the dignity that I'd like somebody to give me. And if somebody is given that kind of dignity, well then he'll realise that, hang on, I'm wrong about this guy.
Okay.
He's a nice guy, he doesn't
Okay.
deserve this. And that's what I'm like with everybody. If I get into a situation and there's loads of people around the table that love me, there's one person that's given me a little bit of a short straw,
Okay.
I'll direct my conversation to that person and try and show that person that he might be wrong. Now, if he's not wrong about me, fine.
Okay.
But give him the
All right.
opportunity to have
All right.
a balance.
But why do you have that need, Keith?
I don't know,
Why would you
it's
have?
not a positive thing, it's a
It's
negative
not.
thing.
It is a negative.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing on if there's a table full of positive energy.
Yeah, and I
You're
always
tracing
focus
out the negative bit.
yeah.
And maybe
I'm trying to make it positive.
let it pollute you.
Yeah, it
You
does,
know?
it does. It's
But-
my
but-
own worst enemy.
But where does it go back to? I mean, did you ever feel like a lot of people say? I mean, Richard Harris told me that he felt the middle kid in a family. He was putting his hand up and saying, "Hey, don't forget me."
Well, it's like that in every family, a middle kid. I mean, don't get me wrong, my mum and dad are close to me now than ever, and I love them to
Alright.
bits, but
Right.
as a middle kid, sometimes you're kind of fighting back, you know? I don't know whether that is.
Whether that's it.
I'm not an insecure person now.
Right.
I have built myself
Right.
to be as confident
Right.
as I
Right.
can be. I do have insecure tendencies. I really
Alright.
do.
Right.
And my wife sees that, and she's such a positive person, and she's such
Great.
not a demanding person, but she kind of feels sometimes that she has to stand up for me
All right.
through her own
Alright.
feelings.
Alright.
And it's not from, it's not done in vain. It's done because she actually thinks that people walk on me and I don't deserve to be walking because I am a genuine nice guy.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right,
I don't
yeah.
do any
No, I believe that.
harm to anybody.
And why did she not like Louis? Why did she never like Louis?
Well, she doesn't think Louis is up for Keith Duffy. She doesn't think
Right.
Louis is
Right.
in the direction for Keith Duffy the way he should be after all I've done for him.
Right. Okay.
Now, I love Louis to bits, and I'd hate to ever say we've fallen out, and I won't
Okay.
let that happen.
Okay.
Even if Louis does dislike me, I don't think he does, but even
Right.
if he did, I would still try and rescue some sort of a relationship because I think Louis is a genius, and I have the height of respect for him.
But he did always say, and it can't have helped your confidence, that you and Shane were the two dummies on the edge.
Oh, yeah, and he says
That
it,
was
he said it on live
doesn't he?
TV, and that's why my wife
Right.
doesn't like him.
Right,
He went on
okay.
the Jerry Kelly show, and he said...
Oh, this is a couple of months back.
Yeah, he went on the Jerry
I saw
Kelly show,
that.
and he ripped us apart.
I
And
saw that.
I was on the John Daly show an hour beforehand, and I just...
What's John Daly? Is that telly or radio?
It's
I don't know.
television. It was on.
Okay,
It's
alright.
BBC One
Okay,
live.
okay.
Well, it's not live. It's pre-recorded, but it goes out on a Friday night before Kelly. And I went on to John Kelly, and I always give or John Daly, and I always give an honest interview.
Right.
I'm not a pop star. I'm not a big
Yeah,
head. I don't,
okay.
I go on, and he asks a question, and I answer the fucking question from here.
Right.
And I gave a very honest, and it was a good, in-depth interview. And I got a lot of praise from the interview, and I was getting phone calls because it just been aired. I was getting phone calls from my mum, my dad, and my mates, and all saying, "Keith, that was a brilliant interview, mate."
Great,
And
great.
I felt really proud at the fact
Right,
that I'd come from
right.
what I'd come from as a number, not name. And
What do you mean as a number, not a name?
well, I was a number in Boyzone. I made up the numbers. I wasn't
okay.
one of the main
Yeah,
men. I
yeah,
wasn't one of
yeah,
the big
yeah,
fancy
yeah.
little males in the band. I was one of the numbers. that
Well, you
made
were
up
one of the
band.
fanciable males, but that was part of what you were just sold as. That's what you even said
Yeah,
to me
but
back
not
when the
even
book was
though
there.
when the real Boyzone fans were around, it wasn't me that they'd be shouting for. It'd be Ron and Stephen, or Ron and Stephen were
Right.
the main two men, Ron
Right.
especially.
Right, okay.
And I kind of had to take a very, very back space there.
All right, okay.
And getting on the John Daly show, and I gave a fucking
Yeah.
great interview.
Right.
And actually, people were seeing me for who I am and what I am, not what I looked at.
All right.
And a lot of people rang me with the praise, and I felt great about myself. I felt fucking hell, man, this is good, good positive, you know. Then the Jerry Kelly show's on an hour later, and Louis totally fucking.
What did he say exactly? I
He
remember.
went on saying that Westlife, I know Westlife and Boyzone, what's the comparison? Oh, there's no comparison. Westlife can sing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he just, after all the fucking.
But did he specifically name you and
No,
Shane?
not at all. No.
Right.
He gave Ronan great plugs, and the four of us all ended
Right.
up coming out really bad off. You know, we'd
Oh,
broken
right.
so many unspoken rules. We brought Ireland into the pop world because we never had a pop band before.
Yeah.
We had done all this type of stuff. Everybody said we were going to be crap. We're going to be this. We sang with Pavarotti. We sang with the Beach. We sang with U2. We'd done it. You know, as a
Yeah.
pop group, we had done
Yeah.
it. It was
Yeah.
credit due.
Okay.
Sorry, I demand the credit that's due, nothing more.
Alright.
And he took that all away. He took that all away by totally being negative about Boyzone. I don't manage them. I don't know them. And here I'm going, forget about a singing, Louis. I was your friend.
Yeah.
If nothing else gained, my friendship was gained. I fucking love you, man. I do
Yeah.
anything for you.
Yeah.
How can you go on live television and put me down like that? And when Lisa's in the room, she'll say,
Right.
"Fucking little bastard." No, I go,
Okay.
no, Lisa, he doesn't
Yeah,
mean that. He's
yeah.
nervous, and
Yeah.
I find myself defending him when he's putting me down,
Yeah.
and I'm defending him to my wife, not to anybody else.
Yeah.
And it was just something that I really didn't want to believe.
But didn't he also say things in print like that about kind of that you and Shane, that he was getting more trouble from yous because you had the less talent? I remember reading that somewhere.
He implied
He said the real talent was kind of, at least they can write, or
But I was supposed to be Louis' best friend. I was supposed to be the one in the
Yeah.
band that was Louis' best
Yeah.
friend. I was one. Forget the talent. Louis always thought. Every time I went out with lunch with Louis and we'd meet someone, he'd say, "This is Keith, but Keith can't sing." And he constantly put me down. "This is Keith. Keith can't dance to save his life, and Keith can't sing." And my whole life I went through this.
But
I
why
can't
did you
do this,
endure
I
that?
can't-
Why didn't you go fuck yourself then?
But I didn't have the
Because you
confidence,
still have
but I
that
thought-
need to.
I still had that need to be somebody, you know. I mean, everybody has that need, you know. I'm not on my own here.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wanted to really believe that I had a talent. Everybody always told me growing up, "You have a talent. You could be on TV. You could be doing this. You could be doing that." So many people can't be wrong. If
Yeah.
I haven't found that loose yet, if I
Yeah.
haven't found that way of
Actual
life yet,
niche for yourself.
it doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely there.
It's a long way from that night where, as you told me in the first book, where he approached you in the pod and said, "Do you want to be in the pop band?"
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he needed you.
He needed me then, and it turned around, and the monster got bigger than the creator. But the
Yeah.
monster the creator couldn't handle the fact the monster got too big, so he decided to do anything he could to kind of stab him and fucking kill the monster. And that's
Yeah.
what he's doing. And it's
And
not
he's still
nice.
doing it, isn't he?
He's still doing it every day.
Every quote.
To promote fucking Westlife, he's stabbing boys on in the back every day.
Yeah.
We met him we were sat with Shane on that song before Christmas.
Yeah.
And we met him in Sheffield
Yeah.
at the Smash Hits tour. Went down great every night. Louis turned up, and Shane has no hesitation in boxing Louis, because Shane and Louis have been in the papers and everything, have been
In fisticuffs.
Never fisticuffs.
Did they ever
Louis.
hit them?
No, but Shane will fucking knock Louis out one day.
Alright,
I know,
okay.
but Shane's not
Alright.
an intelligent guy.
Right.
He's a lovely guy.
But he's instinctive.
But he's instinctive, and he goes.
Yeah.
He's a manly feeling. He has beliefs that he follows through on, and he will hit Louis.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. If you want to check out some of my articles or perhaps tapes that you could use for a documentary, go to joejacksoninterviewer.com.